What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here with a full review for you of the iPad mini. You know what it's got, but should it grace your backpack? Let's go ahead and put it through its paces and see if this is worth your hard-earned tablet buying dollar. Alright, so here is the iPad mini. Before we get to the full-on review, let me remind you what this guy's got from the spec department. So pricing is going to range from $329 all the way up to $659, depending on whether or not you want cellular and how many gigabytes of storage. Dimensions, it is 7.87 inches by 5.3 inches by 0.28 and weighs a very thin 0.68 pounds. The screen, which we're going to talk about quite a bit, is a 7.9-inch affair. It's an LED display with IPS technology and a resolution, you know it, you love it, you might hate it, of 1024 by 768. That is 163 ppi. Keeping this guy burning is a 16.3 watt hour battery, giving you about 10 hours of use. We'll definitely talk about that. 1 GHz dual-core A5 chip. It's got a 5-megapixel iSight camera, 1080p video recording, FaceTime 1.2, and 720p. You can get it on AT&T, Verizon, or Sprint, all jacked up with LTE. Alright, so we quickly ran through the specs. Let's go ahead and talk about the iPad. So before I do all of my reviews, and there's been a reason that I waited so long to do this, I like to take all of my preconceived notions and opinions and keep them off to the side and try to be as objective as possible. And I like to always be honest with my audience. I can't do this video objectively. If I was to do an objective review of the iPad mini, it'd be very different than the video you are going to see, and I'll tell you why. I have an irrational love for the iPad mini. There's something about it, from the spec standpoint and performance, I should hate it, but I absolutely love it. I've actually found that there are typical 4 stages of iPad mini ownership. First time you take it out of the box, you hold it. Stage 1 is love. I can't believe how thin and how light it is. They didn't turn the screen on. Especially if you're living in a Retina world with an iPhone 5 or an iPad 3 or an iPad 4. And then the next step is, damn, that screen resolution sucks. 1024 by 768, you start to see pixels that you didn't see before, and then you move into stage 3, acceptance. Alright, the screen's bad, but it feels so nice in the hands, maybe I can deal with it. And then you go to the last stage, which is finally just love, and you start to love the iPad mini. And those are stages that I found most people that have used a Retina display, Apple product, tend to go through, and I went through that same as well. The screen here is not awesome. If you haven't used a Retina display screen, that's going to look fine to you, but it is not going to blow you away. Text definitely looks a little bit pixelated. But when you go ahead and watch a video, things do actually look pretty good. If you use an iPad 2, it's going to look pretty familiar to what the iPad 2 looked like. Video, not a problem at all. It's actually going to look pretty solid. Pictures as well will also look relatively decent. Really, time you're only going to notice that low resolution screen is when you are reading text, so bear that in mind. Experience, it's been a really enjoyable experience. I always thought with 7-inch tablets that I liked that they existed, but I didn't think that they were for me. I preferred the bigger screen size that we saw on the larger iPad, but the more I used the iPad mini, the more I found I liked it. I found that it was portable enough to take with me everywhere I went. I could fit it in the pocket of a hoodie, and I really liked the size. Even while having a new iPad 4, I haven't used it at all. Since the iPad mini came out, this has been my dedicated iPad. I take it with me now almost everywhere I go, so I've finally become that guy. So the experience has actually been pretty good with it. It's not going to blow you away in the specs department or Geekbench scores, which is 762, by the way. But if you just want an iPad for browsing the web, checking emails, the portability of it I've absolutely loved. There's a lot of questions about, okay, it's got a smaller bezel. What happens when I put my thumbs? Where are my thumbs going to go? And actually, it's not a problem. If you put your thumb even resting right on the screen, I actually will ignore that accidental press. You can still use the tablet as you could before, depending on which thumb you're using. It's really not going to matter at all. So if folks were worried about that, worry no more. Battery life, Apple claims 10 hours. They are lying. Even with brightness at about 50%, I generally get about 7 hours on a good day. Not going to get the full 10 hours. But the nice thing is it does charge kind of quickly. With its brand new fangled lightning port on there, which is one of the big reasons I think Apple released an iPad mini, trying to get lightning on absolutely everything that they have. From a RAM standpoint, I've actually experienced some RAM issues. There's a program that I use called Prezi. It's sort of a fancy web version of PowerPoint. I'm trying to open up a Prezi presentation. It told me I ran out of RAM and had to close applications. So if you use a lot of RAM-intensive things, you may not want to pick up an iPad mini. Also, look past an iPad mini if you're really big into gaming. I don't do many graphic-intensive games on here, really a bout or two of Bad Piggies or some Temple Run is really my extent of gaming on the tablet. So for me, it's been fine, but if you do some really graphic-intensive games, you might want to look at the larger third-generation iPad or iPad 4 to get that better performance. But it's not here on the iPad mini. So who is this tablet for? If you like to travel quite a bit, you want something light that you can browse the web, check emails, and do just regular sort of passive computing, the iPad mini is going to be great for you. If you want something that's going to be more graphically capable, going to be better for media creation, if you want to edit a lot of videos on using iMovie or another video program, you want to edit pictures, you're going to want to look past the iPad mini. I really enjoyed it. I've loved the size. I love the experience of it, and I can't put my finger on it. People ask me why I like the iPad mini, and I can't really tell them why. That's why I sort of preface this by saying I have an irrational love for it. Objectively, though, if I was going to review the iPad mini, I'd say the specs are very underwhelming, and the screen is very underwhelming. They're probably better off waiting until the next generation iPad mini, which Apple's release cycles have been very close together, and hopefully we'll get that improved Retina display. If you put a Retina display on this guy, you upgrade the RAM to 1 gig, I think you're going to be much happier and probably get an awesome experience. But for now, I can't tell you why I love this. Everything about it should say I should hate it, but I do. I love it. It comes with me everywhere. It is my baby. So try it in the store. Go ahead and put your hands on it, see if you like it. Don't judge it just based on the spec. It's sort of a very weird tablet. And listen, I admit, I know that it's irrational. I know that I shouldn't love this tablet, but I really just do, and I'm being honest with you. I could come on camera and completely lie and try and appease people, get called all kinds of names. My honest opinion is I really like this tablet, and it works very well, and I think it's going to work very well for you guys as well. So keep that in mind. A lot of accessories are going to be available for it. I've got mine covered in wood with Techno Buffalo branding. Our friends at Toast did that for us. So plenty of ways to protect your iPad, plenty of smart covers and smart cover knockoffs available. But I think you're going to really enjoy it. Overall, if I was going to give this a final ranking, it gets an 8.0. Lack of RAM and low screen resolution definitely take some points away. I can't give it an editor's choice, but I can give it a John's choice. So if recommending a tablet for anybody or a tablet for a gift, iPad mini is top of my list, and I'm just not sure why. So do you guys agree, disagree? Am I way off base? Am I smoking the apple pipe? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Leave your comments down below. Check us out at technobuffalo.com for the latest and greatest tech news. I am John Rettinger, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.